live program for environmental management plan. So we have seen already the environmental impact assessments part. So the continuum of environmental impact assessments, there will be a environmental management plan, EMP. So this EMP is mainly to implement the EIA, environmental impact assessments. So for each construction industries, those are already done the EIA, environmental impact assessments, they have to make a environmental management plan, EMP. So this will be the implementation of EIA commitments. As you all aware of, there is a recommendations for EIAs from the legal bodies like Environmental Ministry or like Pollution Control Board or EPA. So to implement the ministries or legal bodies, regulatory bodies, EIA, EIA directions, or we can say EIA terms, conditions. So you have to maintain this, you have these kind of environmental impact assessments. So based on that, you found significant impacts. So these significant impacts, environmental significant impacts. In the significant environmental impacts, you have to make a environmental management plan, EMP. So this should be followed for each and every industry. Those are already completed EIA. That is the main thing. You already completed EIA, and also you want to implement the EIA into action plans, paper into actions. So what kind of paper into actions? What all conditions, what all outcomes, what all impacts, environmental impacts, significant impacts mentioned in that EIA needs to be implemented for monitoring, for controlling the pollutions and the environmental impacts. So for that, controlling the environmental impact, you have to make a environmental management plan for site specific. Which site you already done the EIA, that will be your EMP, that is environmental impact assessments leads to environmental management plan. So that you have to know it. So here, so the environmental management plan, EMP, so it's a commitments. So of EIA, it's a commitments of EIA with practical actions. You already commitments. What kind of environmental commitments? The environmental commitments to the legal bodies. As I told you, the Environmental Ministry, Pollution Control Boards, or statutory regulatory boards. So this already your EIA approved, but you have given the commitment to the ministry, Environmental Ministry or Pollution Control Board or EPA. For that commitment, you have to make it EIA into practical actions. EIA into practical actions, the responsibility, monitoring, management procedures, and throughout the project cycles. Throughout the project cycles, you have to give the commitment, responsibility, monitoring. So these all you have to make a plan. So that will be the EMP, environmental management plan. So you have to, go through this one. When you are going, this EMP is very, very important. Because those who are working in the construction sites, those who are working in the major projects, the main implementation guide is coming from the environmental management plan. Because the environmental management plan is mainly the implementation of environmental impact assessments. So already you made a environmental impact assessments, that is EIA. So after you did the EIA, you submitted the EIA to the regulatory bodies, ministry or EPA or pollution control board. So for that, they already approved EIA. Once they approved, you have given some environmental commitments for environmental impact, potential environmental impacts. So the potential environmental impacts, we can call it as a significant impacts. So that you already made a commitment to the regulatory body. So when you already gave the commitment, that commitment only action plans. That will be the environmental management plan. So that we can call it as a EMP. So the practical actions, you have to allocate the resources. You have to allocate the responsibility persons. You have to do the monitoring. You have to regularly, make a legal compliances, environmental legal compliances. So these all you have to make a plan. This plan needs to be available throughout the project cycle. Throughout the project cycle, you have to do this environmental management plan. Okay, so as we said, environmental commitments of EIA with into practical actions. Practical actions. So here it's mentioned responsibilities, monitoring, management procedures throughout the project cycles. Okay. So now you already understood how this environmental management plan came. Now, then what are the key components in that environmental management plan? What are the key components? Number one, roles and responsibilities. So here in this EMP mentioned that who is responsible for the environmental requirement. For example, implementing the monitoring, reporting environmental requirements. So define who will be the responsible. So in this EMP, the first one is defining that who is responsible for implementing the monitoring, reporting environmental requirements. So as per EIA, there will be a environmental requirements. So that environmental requirements, who all needs to be implemented. Who is responsible for implementing whether environmental engineer, EHS officer, HSE officer, or safety officer. So that is the question. Then implementing and maintaining the reporting and the environmental requirements. The environmental requirements, the noise, there will be environmental requirement. Air, there will be environmental requirements. Air, sulfur dioxides, then CO2. We can have the particulate matters, PM, particulate matters, nitrous oxides, sulfur oxides. So these all, there will be a reference value are there. So whether this project meeting the environmental requirements of that legal, that country's legal requirements. So that will be the one person monitored, and they have to follow monitoring and reporting and doing whether it's all meeting the environmental requirements or not. So that compliances they have to monitor. These all the things, whether who will taking the in charge. So what will be the safety officer's role? What will be the safety supervisor's role? What will be the safety manager's role? So then there will be an environmental engineer for the projects. Then what will be the environmental engineer's role? So the roles and then their monetary level, these all explained in the roles and responsibilities. Then second one, mitigation. So second one, the mitigation measures. So mitigation measures means, yes, in the EIA itself, it's mentioned that the environmental significant impacts. So to prevent the environmental impacts, what will be the mitigation measures? That also needs to be included in that EMP, the environmental management plan. So mitigation means documents required to avoid pollution, minimize the pollution, recovery and the restore and site reviews. This all comes under the mitigation measures. Then third one is monitoring process. So third one is monitoring process. In that environmental, all the requirement, for example, in that third one, monitoring process means how you will monitor it. Daily, what are the parameters you will monitor. Weekly, what are the parameters you will monitor. Month, 15 days once, what are the parameters you monitor. So monthly, what will be your monitoring program? Air, noise, water, waste management, hazardous waste management. Then the overall water treatments and how the overall project environmental status. For example, water means there are category of chemical water, wastewater, water, normal raw water. So these there will be analysis report for wastewater, treated water and then raw water. Then normal raw water into treated water. So these all the parameters: water, air, land, soil, we can say noise, and these all the parameters you have to regularly monitor. Already EIA says that the company having the during the construction side, the particulate matters micron 5, micron 10 is high. So for that particulate matter, what will be the role? What will be the monitoring status? So that also you have to process environmental monitoring process. So how you will do that, all you have to mention in the monitoring process. Then fourth one, training and so awareness. So you have to give the training and awareness of environmental impact assessments and environmental concerns throughout the industry. So throughout the whoever, whether contractor, subcontractor, purchaser, then your what we can say customers, who all there, no problem. But you have to give the training. Environmental impact assessment outcomes, you have to give the training. Environmental things, you have to give the training and awareness. For example, water saving, electricity saving, fuel saving, and all kinds of environmental issues, particulate matter issues. These all the things you have to give the basic environmental training throughout the construction industry. That training you have to make a record. That's it important. Then fifth one, emergency procedures. So you have to make a emergency procedures. So, for example, there are environmental incidents happening in the site. In the environmental incidents, there will be a oil spillage, fire, and then you can have the pollution, then you have other emergencies. So there will be a emergency procedures. You have to make emergency procedures in case of fire, in case of oil spillage, in case of major accident, in case of minor incident, in case of earthquake, in case of dust storm, in case of cold climatic condition, in case of hot climatic condition. So these all the things you have to make a emergency procedure. In case of emergency, to whom you have to contact, what will be the procedure? In case of major environmental incident, how you can rescue the people, and how the company making the evacuate the people. So that is the things also you have to mention, make a procedure, emergency procedure for environmental incidents such as oil spillages or chemical spillages, any kind of hazardous material spillages and fire, and then you have any other emergency like environmental emergencies. These all the things you have to make a document, make a procedures. That is also part of EMP. That is Environmental Management Plan. Then sixth one, inspection, operation and auditing. So these all the part of, as earlier I told you, these all part of the environmental management plan. So now what we are seeing, sixth one, inspection, operation and auditing. This must be there because the regulatory bodies, they will come and see, or you have to submit the report. For that, you have to submit every month, you have to submit to them what are the inspection you did, what are the operation you did, then what are the auditing you did, what will be the auditing outcome, what will be the inspection outcome, then what will be the your overall operations. So these all you have to define, and you have to make an inspection schedule, and then you have to make a corrective actions review. These all the things you have to mention. What you have to mention? Inspection. How weekly inspection, 15 days once inspection, monthly inspection, what you did. And then what will be the schedule for inspections? What are the area you will cover? And then your corrective actions. What are the corrective action request given? How the corrective action done as for environmental side. Then review. Then how the company overall environmental review taken, and then finally what are the review processed, and then who reviewed that one, then what will be the course of actions. So these are the things mentioned in that EMP. So sixth one. Then seventh one, stakeholders engagement. So for each and every big companies, there will be a stakeholders. For that stakeholders, you have to engage environmental impact assessments. For example, they are also interested parties. So you cannot ignore them, because you have to tell them how environmental friendly you are working, and also you are following the environmental rules and regulations, and also the environmental compliances you are following strictly as per EAA. So you have to give the communication to all the people, so that time only they will understand and also make the company okay, they are working good and looking professional, and it will not hurt the companies in future for any operations. So here the stakeholders engagement is important. Establish communication. So stakeholder communication you have to establish for communicators, regulators, other interested parties. Communities. Communities means around the area, the factory around the area, there is a residency people are there. So in this residence people, they also want to know what's happening inside the industry. If the pollution is high, then they are also getting affected. So there will be stakeholders, communities, interested parties. You have to engage them. As per the EMP, you have to engage them. You have to communicate them. What are the monitoring you are doing? How you are minimizing the pollution? How you are avoiding the pollution? How safely you are doing the operation? How you are recovering the environment, and you are not polluting the environment. So that also is there in the EMP. So this is the major part of the environmental management plan. So EMP is mainly because EIA implementation. EIA practical implementation is said to be EMP. Okay. So for that, number 1, roles and responsibility. Number 2, mitigation measures. Number 3, monitoring process. Number 4, training and awareness. Number 5, emergency procedures. Number 6, inspection, operation and auditing. Then number 7, stakeholder engagement. So when you are doing environmental management plan EMP, it's a good for industry for implementing the EIA, and also you can have the proper plan to monitor the environmental requirements, legal requirements, and submit the report to Pollution Control Board, and there should not be any problem for environmental side when you have a EMP. That's why this EMP, Environmental Management Plan. So this environmental management plan, each and every big construction industry, you have to make it, because this environmental management plan is paper into actions. What all major environmental requirements from the EIA into EMP, that is environmental management plan. So this environmental management plan you have to adapt, follow and implement in the industry. When you are implementing in the industry, then you don't have any legal issue, because this will be followed throughout the project cycle. When you are following this one, you don't have that much legal issues. So it's mentioned that who all roles and responsibilities, mentioning that the HSE officer, what is the role? Safety manager, what's his role? Safety supervisor, what's his role? So the roles and responsibility mentioned, and then how frequently you have to do the analysis and monitoring. Air, water, land, soil, noise. These are how frequently you are doing, what will be the value. So you have to make it cross verify the references. So what will be the COD of water? What will be the BOD of water? Then in air side, what is the particulate matter level? Particulate matter 5 micron, particulate matter 10 micron, nitrous oxide, sulfur oxide, carbon dioxide, then any kind of hazardous gas is there. So what will be the, if the sulfur is high, then hydrogen sulfide is somewhere any tanker used. So what will be their role, whether these all the gases These all the things within the limit, within the reference value, you have to make a report and submit every month to the Pollution Control Board, Environmental Protection Agency, Authority, we can call it as a EPA, Environmental Protection Authority, EPA, then Environmental Ministry, where all you have to submit the report, or when they are coming for inspection, you have to show the error, you have to show this as per the EMP, you already made the report. This report you have to submit to the legal bodies. Then they will verify it, everything okay, no issues. If any deviation is there, they will give some penalties. Some penalties, or sometimes major violations are there, there will be a shutdown or lockdown, or we can carry, they make it a shutdown, because the Prohibition, Environmental Prohibition Act will, the legal people, they'll come and see if the environmental values above the level, and also if the impact is high pollutions are there, then they will ask them to stop the work. Once everything over, then they are asked them to start. You have to request after everything correct, then only you can request. Then they can start they can ask you to start. Otherwise, you cannot start, because the environmental side, anything abnormal, then it's environmental ministry or environmental legal body's right to stop the work. For that, you have to strictly follow this EMP. When you are strictly following EMP and doing the monitoring, and you have a proper record, then this record you can show it to the legal body, no issues. If any major deviations are there, they have a right to stop the work, and they have to deny. They can also deny the projects also. So that you have to think it, being a safety officer, HSE officer, safety manager, whoever there, I think this one definitely you'll get a broad knowledge about the environmental management plan. So this is the continuation from the environmental impact assessment, that is EIA to EMP. So that you have to understand. So you have any questions in this, you just command me. What all you have doubts, I'll try to answer for that. So thank you very much for watching this environmental management plan live sessions. So still you didn't subscribe this channel, subscribe it, share it, like it, and forward to your friends. Those are all related to the HSE, EHS, sustainability, and then safety professionals. They'll get enhance their career path through these trainings. There are a lot of videos are available in this HSE Mindset channel about the HSE, environment side, EHS side, everything available. So you can, when you are going the training sessions, in video sessions, so you will get more information in that. So continuous live classes are there. So you are watching this HSE Mindset channel. So continuously support this channel, subscribe it, forward to your friends, and make it more familiar. So I am ready to help to enhance your career side, including environment, health, safety part. So thanks for watching. Thank you very much for your support. So we will meet some other live sessions. Thank you.